Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is NFL Football Insight, and this is Game 2 of the regular season, Week 1, between the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. One of my, pretty hyped games ever since they released the schedule. So the Chicago Bears coming off, I believe, an 8-8 season last season, and they had a bunch of injuries on their offense and defense, and I really want to see how they improve upon that and to show up, this season, hopefully making the playoffs. On the Colts, worst team in the NFL last year, finishing at 2-14, but with a lot of great acquirements from the NFL draft with Andrew Luck, Kobe Fleener, Donald Brown. I really want to see how they work this season. I want to see if they finish last again. I want to see if they finish third in the AFC South. Sorry, and I want to see how they work against one of the better defenses in the NFL in the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears, Jay Cutler, the quarterback out of from Purdue. This is, I believe, it's the seventh season in the NFL. Traded from the Denver Broncos to the Chicago Bears. He was injured late last season against the San Diego Chargers. I want to see how he really improves upon that because he had a fairly decent season last season, not throwing too many interceptions, but throwing quite a few touchdowns with some great wide receivers in Devin Hester, Johnny Knox, and I believe that's it. I'm sorry, I thought there was one more. But one key thing they had this offseason, the Bears, it wasn't their defense getting healthy again. It wasn't all of these, little corners getting picked, but it was Brandon Marshall. Now, for those that don't know, Brandon Marshall played with Jay Cutler back in Denver. Back in the Denver days. But then Brandon Marshall was traded to Miami Dolphins, and then Jay Cutler was traded to Chicago. Now, Brandon Marshall over the offseason was just released by the Miami Dolphins, and he was on the free agents. So, Lovie Smith, with his great mind, he was like, oh, hey, let's pick up this guy. Jay Cutler and him had a great chemistry back in Denver. I mean, if you go back and watch some Jay Cutler to Brandon Marshall passes, there's some great clutch plays by these two players. Jay Cutler throwing the ball deep, perfect pass, perfect spiral to Brandon Marshall. And Brandon Marshall's height, he jumps up and grabs the ball, scores a touchdown. Brandon Marshall, honestly, is one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. Lately, he just hasn't had a quarterback that can throw very well. Now he has it. I'm not saying Jay Cutler's the best in the NFL, but I believe Jay Cutler is definitely going to, really show people, hey, Brandon Marshall's good. You should really give this guy a chance. So, Matt Forte, as you see on screen here, and this guy was injured late last season as well. That's too bad because I was really thinking, Bears playoffs. Bears are doing very well right now with their offense and defense. They're really closing out games. They're really winning games, and they really know how to win. But Matt Forte, I believe, hurt his ankle or his ACL or MCL. I don't really know exactly. I believe I forgot about that. But I mean, I want to see how he works now because he's always been a great back. He's really consistent with at least rushing at least 100 yards or 110 yards or rushing just below that and getting at least one or two touchdowns. The guy, he jukes very, very well. He jumps over defenders. He really finds the hole, and he really knows how to get downfield for that first down. And now Brandon Marshall, talk a little bit more about him. I talked about his height, I talked about his quickness, but his hands. He's great at catching the ball. He's a great receiver. He's aggressive. He wants to win games. He likes to go for the ball no matter what, whether there's a defender on him or not. He's like a mini Calvin Johnson. Like, I can compare those two so much, but that's just me. So the Colts, their very first pick in the NFL draft, Andrew Luck, as you see on screen right here. I'm really hyping this guy. I hope this guy isn't a bust like Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf. I really hope not because a lot of people have him at high standards just coming out of Stanford. I believe he's going to do fairly well with the Colts, throw at least probably 1,000, 2,000 yards, of course, like any quarterback should, and, throw about at least maybe 20 touchdowns, maybe 10 interceptions. I believe he's going to have a great NFL season. I really can't wait to see him play. I'm really excited that they put him up against one of the best defenses in the NFL, the Chicago Bears. Donald Brown, as you see on screen here, he's really a nobody back. No one really talks about him. No one really knows him. But he actually has some pretty great stats now that he's the starting running back in Indy, now that Joseph Addai is gone. Donald Brown, just like Matt Forte, he's quick. He's versatile. He jukes. He finds the hole. gets downfield for more yards. The guy, he's a great ball player. I really can't wait to see him play against one of the best run defenses in the NFL, in the Chicago Bears. Once again, I'm not trying to hype the Bears too much. They're not my favorite team, but they're definitely one of the best out there, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me. Reggie Wayne, on the other hand, he's a great receiver, but I don't think he's at his peak anymore. I don't really think, he's at what he was 3 or 4 years ago. He's really starting to gradually go down and down with his skill play because, his peak was just about 3 or 4 years ago when Peyton Manning was throwing the ball downfield and he'd one-hand catch it for a touchdown. You just don't see that anymore. I don't know if it was because there was a lack of quarterback skill last season, but maybe Andrew Luck will bring that back. I believe, though, Reggie Wayne only has probably 1 or 2 years left in him. Now, defenses. Colts defense, I really don't know much about them. Basing it off last season, they aren't good at all. I don't really know if they've improved. I've watched their games, they really haven't been, consistent. They really haven't been stopping the ball. They've just been letting up pretty big plays against the Redskins. Whoever else they played in the preseason. But the Bears, on the other hand, Brian Urlacher, Julius Peppers, Tim Jennings, Nick Roach, all these great defensive players that they have, most of them had some pretty decent injuries last year that really kept them out of games. I believe the Bears defense will really kind of shut down the Colts offense and allow kind of a blowout game. But anyways, the winner of this game will be the Chicago Bears, I believe, 27-14. Andrew Luck will throw for 2 touchdowns and about 175 yards. I believe it'll be an exciting game to watch, but the Bears will prevail in the end. I really can't wait to see Andrew Luck play. Anyways, guys, the NFL Football Insight. I really hope you enjoyed this game. I'm bringing another game to you in probably about an hour and a half or so. So I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to comment, like, rate, subscribe, do whatever you have to do to help me improve upon my channel and tell me what I need to fix, what I don't need to fix, and just give me some feedback. That would be awesome. I hope you all enjoy this NFL Football Insight. Peace.